you are looking to identify?
Someone who's hungry enough. I think one of the reasons why I like my boy Camilo is because I saw the hunger in him in a very long time. I organize musical concerts on campuses. And in 2017, I organized one at UPSA. I think the first one was at the hostel, and the second one was their campus.
Okay.
So, he had a mate who used to work with me. So he would tell me, this good artist in my class who wants us to manage him. But, because of our duties, we don't only manage artists, we do other extra things too. So, we kept postponing him. The following year, 2018, again, we had a concert at UPSA, and all that. He was at the backstage, he never had a chance to, perform because there were too many artists. I mean, it's a concert where we book the earliest artists, so usually underground is, you can only give 5 for, probably a few of the chance. And, he kept calling, till one day I was in the office and, he came by and said, he thinks this is where his blessings are, so therefore he wants to find a way to make it work. And I mean, the zeal alone made me feel like this boy is hungry enough. I saw the calls, I saw him moving, and within the same space, he was putting on music. That was the same time that he released For My Lover. So I felt like, okay, so this young man is not just one of the people that's just after his song.
Yeah.
Upon having a conversation with him, I realized that he was deep enough. He wanted to build the music as a career, not just someone who's looking for a hit song.
Okay.
And after getting popular, of course, he understood where he was going. So that really turned me on, and I decided to engage him.
Big George.
So yes, I decided to engage him, and of course, it's been a beautiful experience. I mean, yes, I've worked with all these artists. I've loved it. I mean, Akodana has a specialty. He was hungry boy. He wanted to be all over the place. We had to perform almost everywhere in Ghana. Kacha only gave me the same vibe, and of course, everybody has his own. So I, for one, before I work with you, I look at the hunger that you possess, because you say, I feed on your hunger, I feed on your energy. So if you come around me and you want to relax and give me that slow vibe, I think you're going to get the same thing from me. But when you're hungry, it actually engages me to work extra more, because then I realize that, okay, you want to get there, and I can't be here. I need to be above you. So the more you work, the extra more I need to work as a manager, because I have to push you on that pedestal. And for you to get there, I need to be on my A game. Yeah.
Thank you very much, George. So I'm going to go to Sadiq. When I go to Sadiq, because you have been with Boomplay, you understand the streams, you understand how to monetize your content and all of that. I want to come to you, but before we do that, we are going to answer a very important question during this masterclass. A lot of people have the opinion, and it's not only peculiar to people from this side. A lot of people across the other sectors, other regions in Ghana, think that before you can make it big, you need to migrate from wherever you are and go to Accra. That is where the gurus are before you can do whatever you intend to do. We'll answer that question. But Sadiq, monetizing your content.
Yeah.
For an artist, for a content creator, what's the game plan like? What do? Do you just upload and call people to go there live or share? What's the whole plan when you're monetizing?
Well, it depends on which content you're creating. So if you realize that Ziggy was producing content or creating content, Kinora as well was creating content. Right? Yeah, so you realize that Kinora as well was creating content. Malaysia was creating content. Essentially, all of us that are sitting here are creating content one way or the other. George is looking talented at creating music content. So it depends on the content that you're creating, the positioning, and your game plan. So for Kinora, for instance, I'm sure that for her, the game plan would be it's direct. For a lot of the content from micro bloggers like her, it's more direct, and in the ways that you can monetize it is to upload the content, harness the audience, And once you manage the audience, you can deliver this audience to advertisers or people that are looking to do product placements. Or you can also have spin-offs. I've seen her spinning off into having restaurants or gardens, which are always short part of the plan. For him as well, he is also predominantly done the same thing. Gathered an audience, builds brand equity to a point where he built brand equity, which was able to, now direct certain things of to his ring. For George, or for a lot of people that have musical content, by now, particularly those that have tried to upload their content on any of the platforms, you will know the concept of what we call aggregators. A lot more, yes. So a lot more of the platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Boomplay, you can't go. All of them do not deal directly with the musician. So a lot of you will realize that you cannot directly upload songs unless you go through third parties or middlemen. There are a lot of middlemen. A lot of them are called the distros or distro kits. There's TuneCore. There is Dito in Ghana. There's Horus Music. There are a lot of them. All you need to do is sign up to them. They provide you a service. Some of the service comes at a fee. In some instances where it doesn't come at a fee, you have to waive off some bit of your revenues to take care of the service that they provide for you. Then once you are done signing up, there's a Ziggy as well. Once you've signed your deals with them, they give you a back end where any of member of your team can now upload content. And then when you upload the content from the back as well, you can see the dashboard and all of that. But we'll all have to understand that this content on these platforms does not move on its own. In all the content formats or the different content angles that we've looked at, yes, they finished, they put out the content, but I'm sure all of them had a certain promotional angles to it. One of the things we've been very, very poor at as Ghanaians is how to promote this content to ensure that, or activating the content to ensure that we get the much needed traction. If your content is sitting on YouTube, that's fine. You will realize that for YouTube, unless the content is gaining traction, that's when they can put it on the trend list or they can begin to recommend it to people that are listening to content that fits or quite similar to that. But before you be able to do that, when you put the content, do an exercise. When you put the content on YouTube and you don't tell Yofi that, shall I get some content on YouTube or anything like that, how would he know that you've got content on YouTube for him to go and check it out? There are probably about 2 billion content being uploaded on YouTube almost every day. Every day. So the only way you can ensure that people go to check out the content, which will inform how much money you make from it, is by promoting it or making a lot of noise about it. So that is where you need to have that promotional angles to it. So you can have different, for a lot of the brands, what they do the 90-day campaigns or the 3-month campaigns where there's a teaser of the campaign. When the campaign, after you tease, there's when you launch the campaign. There are different phases of the campaign. It's the same thing that should apply to particularly those of you that also upload creative content on any of the platforms. You can have your teasers, beyond the teasers as well. You can do the regular traditional media interviews where now more than ever, a lot of the young people, a lot of the people that are heavy users of the creative content, you listen to radio or watch the TV with your phones. How many of you have gone out, listened to your song and then Shazammed it to find out who did this brilliant song and then go online and check it out? By going online to check it out, you may have been contributing to the person's streams and obviously the money that it's making. So it's the same thing that pretty much works on this as well. If you're watching the TV, you come on TV, you do the interviews. When you are done, don't forget to tell them that they should check out the songs that are on Apple Boomplay, Apple Music, Spotify, or YouTube, because then they are watching. The moment they are watching, you say you go on, you check it out, and then yes, voila, you find it. If you're lucky and the sound is good, then you can ensure that you can get a lot more streams. But what's most important here is that you need to have insights regarding the big users of music. At every point in time, the biggest users of the music, particularly, or creative content mostly, are usually between a certain age, 16 to 25, the biggest users of music. Then beyond the 25, it keeps drawing down again and again and again. So, because I mean, the 1625 demographics, they have a lot of time on their hands. I mean, they listen to music a whole lot. A lot of the people that are falling in that bracket today, some of the music they know safe. I mean, even though I'm working in music media, I still would have to rely on some of the things that they have a lot of time, they consume a lot of these things, they're more tech savvy today. So, but most important, you need to recognize these people, you need to understand their demographics and their characteristics, the kind of sound they're listening to. Earlier on today when we were having a conversation, I was talking about how a particular top artist is not getting traction of his music lately because he keeps giving us 2013, 2014, 2015 vibes. You know, the biggest users of music today, their ears have become very accustomed to new sounds, trendier sound. They are listening to Raymond, they are listening to Key, they are listening to Kwame Eugene. Even the language is different. I was making the point, I'm a millennial, but the Gen Zs, whilst millennial, when I'm talking, I say Charlie, indigenous, I say Charlie, they get what I'm talking about. A lot of the Gen Zs, they don't have time. First question, bam. The language is different. So you've got to factor all these things in. The unfortunate part is that you are in a unique situation here in Ghana. Whereas in the more matured, creative economies, there are more established organizations, private organizations, the Universal House, the Warner Music, the Sony Music, the Universal Pictures, and the studios to be able to pursue some of these things. You don't have that. So you need to recognize that you would have to work probably 100%, that is, he says 300 or 200% more than the creative talent that's in any of these mature markets. Which means that you've got to do more, understanding, gathering the insights, knowing the language that works and everything. Kiri could just easily today sing a song and say, "Send me news." Years ago, how are you going to receive the news?
I'm thinking one already.
Yes, how are you going to receive the news? There was no WhatsApp, there was no, so the language of today is, send me news, it's the language of today. Enter the DM is a language of today. Comment, likes is a language of today. ABI, DP, all these conversations, story, Snapchat. There's a whole lot of these things that is guiding the conversation of today. So gathering the insight, understanding the audience, which to allow this that informs the kind of music that you create, the on-trend sound that you create is but very important. Beyond that as well, once you upload it, recognize that the fact that you upload your song on YouTube, or the fact that you go to an aggregator and upload a song on Apple Music or Spotify doesn't mean that the song will travel on its own. It's got to be promoted. That's where the likes of Yofi comes in. You've got to bother him and hound him and ensure that he gives you the interview. Beyond the interview, you've got to bother him and ensure that you're able to activate it on TV. There are a lot of DJs that are sitting down here. You've got to have that promotional strategy to ensure that these songs are activated. There's a reason why it's called brand activation, music activation. Every outlet where it's put out, they are all activation points. Radio activation point, television activation point, outdoor events, clubs, all of those things, nightclubs. They are all activation points because today it's a connect world. I listen to the song in the club. I don't know the song, I Shazam it. Tomorrow I leave the club and I'm home and I want to relive the club experience. I go, this song sounds Shazam in my life, let me check it. Then I go and I look at them and I listen to it. So, and you need to recognize the more the people are listening and you're gaining traction in a particular market, the more your sound will be recommended to newer audiences who ordinarily may skip it. So, but don't also discard brand equity generally. And that's where the likes of your visuals, your video, your marketing materials will be able to create for you. I mean, how you position yourself, how you differentiate yourself. There are thousands and more rappers, if you're a rapper, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody? If you're into Afrobeat, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody? And yes, just not to rush it. You do not necessarily, I know a lot of people would speak to it as well. You do not necessarily need to move from Takoradi to make it. It depends on you. It depends on how you've got a hold on all of it. There are a lot of talents. Look, the Nigerians are able to crack it. We hate to use them as an example because it's so good that it's almost like an indictment on us. So when you use them, it's like, Charlie, it's an indictment on us. But they've cracked it. They don't live in Ghana. But how are they able to create that much resonating effect from their songs? They come into the country, They have a plan. They understand all the activation points. Even before they come in, they understand the kind of songs that will work. So you realize that there are a number of songs that are being released that they sing Banku. She told Ghana girl say she won't marry you. Other you Banku, she told all of those things. They are realizing the lingua. They are saying that okay, for me to attract these people with these ears, I need this. If I sometimes kind of sit down here, Pentecost will do the instrumentation, the guitar, I'm concerned with the entire life. No. A Ghanaian guy who played it. He knew what they wanted. So they factored in all of this in the critical process. But what they have done, the promotional part, how many of the Nigerians have been coming possibly in Takra and reached out in the ways that some of you guys will not? So the promotion of the songs that you put out on the digital platforms are as important as the creative process of creating the songs. One is not important than the other. It goes hand in hand. You need to recognize that. But yes, you have to go through the aggregators for most of the platforms. You need to understand who are they. Find out today again digital. Look for tunecore.com. Look for Dito. Look for Horus Music. Look for DistroKid. All of these platforms, and you've got to spend a lot more time gathering this because you don't have the benefit of the label that Takashi 69 has. That label has an insights manager, a research manager, a campaign. They've got, even in the marketing department, they've got they've got campus coordinators and all of that. You don't have that, but you also want that kind of recognition and effect. You've got to work triple more. And they see this is 300%. So essentially, that's how it works within the digital space.
Okay, you want to top up from where Sadiq left off?
Okay, so you said something about you don't have to leave. And something came to mind. My favorite video for the past 2 years from Ghana is Thomas Pompey. Papi Kojo. Okay, so when I heard the song the first time, I liked the title, I'm a piano vibe, so I was like, okay, video, nice, where will this be shot? Then I had a conversation, I was talking to him, and the conversation was, the video was going to be shot in Takoradi. And it was shot in Takoradi. For me, that's why I love it. Now, to add to what he's saying, wherever you are in the world, you have a story. You just need to tell it to the world. And like he's saying, activate it everywhere. So you can be in Takoradi, you can be in Kumasi. What's their name? The boys, what's their name?
Asaka.
Yes. You can be somewhere, but you just need to ensure that whatever you have, you take it to the world. And especially off the back of COVID, where we are all sitting in our homes, and we can have meetings with anybody in the world. That just tells you that wherever you are, you can just reach out to the whole world. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So this is the whole essence of the Guinness Shine Bright Creative Masterclass. It is to listen to the stories that inspire. It is to urge you, the young creatives sitting here, to fight and rise to the top. That is why all of these fine brains are sitting here. And we are not here to celebrate mediocrity. We are here to push you and tell you that it is possible, no matter the little corner that you find yourself. Again, they say that the internet these days is easily accessible everywhere, and it is a bigger platform than any other platform that you can think of. So again, we are going to talk about how you can sit in that your small corner. People feel like it looks like all of the action is in Accra. If you want to talk to Sadiq, he's in Accra. If you want to talk to Nana Kofi, he's in Accra. If I want Ziggy to dance for me, he's in Accra and all of that. So wherever that you are, maybe you have to move to Accra to be able to get your story here and all of that. We'll go into all of those fine details. Again, let me be quick to emphasize, this is the Guinness Bright House Creative Masterclass happening right here inside Takrady. And we're going to get interactive. I'm going to come to you and pick all of your questions and all of that. But Sadiq, I want to find out this from you before we go into the other areas. I want to find out from you what we intend to do, like I said, is not to push mediocrity. So when we are putting out whatever content, if it is food blogging, if it is music, if it is dancing, you're targeting the global eye and all of that. What do you think we look out for? What is that advice? If I'm going to create, and I'll come to Ziggy, I'll find out from you as well. If I'm going to talk to specific to music, if I'm going to put out music, what is the global eye looking for? And Nana Kofi will talk to other visuals.
So Nana touched when he spoke about authenticity. I mean, being authentic is that one of the things that would differentiate you. Originality is very important. I heard that there's an often-repeated term that you can't really bring the wheel, but definitely you can impact it in a very small way. And you can touch it. So it's authenticity, originality, and then obviously finding all those different things to connect your story to. Is the unique stories of the same days that will draw attention to you. Black Sherry find a perfect way to do that.
Yeah.
Black Sherry spend time. He's been coming into Accra and going. He's had his struggles and all of those things. Then he began to sing about chronicle his stories in the music. So he had a song Money. Money was like general, and he began to talk about himself. So first sermon obviously was about himself, his story, and the things that a lot of people can relate to. And then he did second sermon. So every line are stories of himself, but obviously they are stories that people can relate to. However, the way he renders it, the way he sings over the people are something that is unique to him, how melodic it is, are something that is unique to him. So obviously, you could see that for a lot of the talents that are trying to break through in this year, or the people you call the class of 2021, he's got something that's unique to him. That's how he differentiated himself. So authenticity or originality, or finding other exciting ways to approach the same thing with your own story and give it that unique effect is what would wake people up. Because then today, because we don't have somebody that doesn't like Black Sherry. Fast forward, Better Boy is on it. And by the way, there's a remix actually that's coming with Better Boy, which I sleeping called, which is fire. Second. Obviously everybody's waking up to who is this kid? Everybody's been asking. The whole aggregator agency Empire distribution is major. Spend time in Ghana, this quarter Black Sherry. And so these are some of the things, and he just spoke about it.
Yeah.
It was his authenticity, it was his originality in the dance movement he was creating that drew the likes of Rocking all of these things to them. And so finding that unique way, what's your story? Who are you? Kofi Kinata did it best. He came from Takoradi, and when he came, everybody, when I knew Kofi Kinata in Takoradi, then when I was coming in, he was rapping.
Yeah.
He was rapping like everybody else. And then he found a very unique way. If you listen to Kofi Kinata's song today, you realize that there are certain similarities of Kofi Kinata's song to Ayisem's song. But go back again to CK Man, go back to Papa Yansi. There's a certain level of similarity. It's the Osode Park Island, which is a very popular island that came from here, Takoradi. They picked it and modernized it. That's what's unique, because at the time Kofi Kinata broke in again, everybody else was doing the like, everybody else was doing something different. Then he brought that storyization that was unique to Takoradi. And today, everybody says Kofi Kinata is the best songwriter you can have. Because he took the stories, a lot of the stories from Takoradi, he rendered it in his own language. He sings it. You pick up a 10 on the street here, which is unique to him. Everywhere you work in the street in Takoradi, there are two things. I say, Benyan Benazil. He did a song for him. I say, say it again. I say, Benyan Benazil. So, I mean, he factored it in his song, and then he has a song, More Benazil. He's got a lot of songs, but he picked a song in High Life, which is unique to Takoradi, Western region, which was pioneered by the likes of CK Man, Papa Yansi, and Co. to a great effect, modernized it, turning the language and everything. It's unique to Kofi Kinata. There's a reason why Kofi Kinata, year in, year out, keeps winning that songwriter of the year and winning all of those things because of what? It's not like him. So the originality and then the authenticity is very important. But find that which defines that originality for your authenticity, and particularly how it's linked to your story and where you're coming from.
Thank you very much, Sadiq. Incredible Ziggy. We've seen you dance in top-notch music videos. We've seen you dance for top brands and all of that. But talk to me about how you're able to make money out of all of these things that you're doing.
Dancing in videos definitely are going to get paid. But you can't just survive on only music. So you can be a host. I was hosting a dance dance show for GH1.
Okay.
GH1 Dance Food Edition. I hosted that the first season. I mean, you can judge dance battles.
Okay.
You can have performances. You can teach dance workshops. Posting on YouTube. You know, you can monetize your videos. A whole lot. I mean, your social media. You could work for brands through your social media platform. I've been able to work for Universal Music Group, Maven Records. You know, these are
Of course, Guinness.
you know, Spotify, a whole lot. And my biggest highlight has been Guinness. My whole life being a dancer, this has been the moment where I'm being celebrated. After all these years, you know, it's
Let's give it up for Guinness. Yeah. Let's give it up for Guinness.
After all these years, is this campaign that's really made me feel like, yo, dance is really accepted. Because anywhere I go, I'm being celebrated. I mean, the global campaign, choosing a dancer from Ghana, it was never like this before. They'll always discourage you, dance will take you anywhere. You're a rascal, footballer. Hey, you are paying school fees, you want to be a dancer. I mean, all those things. When you dress up, you're moving to the National Theatre, they say, oh, you're aimless. And from Kosi, baby. So, I mean, positioning yourself well for the market, having a good brand, staying consistent, that's what works for me.
Okay.
I'm able to do that. When I started monetizing on YouTube mainly, and I started figuring out ways and means I could make money because it's important and I need to survive, and I want to also create a lot of job opportunities for people. So along the line, people started asking, where can they buy my food? They want to taste my food. And I was like, okay, so this is my studio. I have a production house as well. It's mainly for food production. And there's a big yard in the studio. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn it into a garden. And it's going to be a restaurant. So when I opened, first month, the turn up, the returns, and I was like, oh my God. Yes.
It was exciting.
It was like an adrenaline rush. It was insane. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep up. And it's been running for some time now. We recently closed for renovations, and it's going to be bigger and better. And I opened another restaurant, focusing mainly on African food, which is Ghanaian and Nigeria mainly. And so yes, in terms of monetizations, I've tried to find ways and means within my industry and my field as well to make money.
Alright, well, before I move to John, what's your favorite African dish? Bamboo
No oil okra.
No oil?
Yes.
With some wele kakra?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like crab? Like crab?
Oh, I love crabs too, but baby crabs, not the big ones.
You're scared of them? Okay, alright. That's it.
Don't worry, I know George's favorite.
You know, John, what's your favorite
He
food?
likes meat.
Raw or, I mean,
Right.
grilled or?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, okay. So, John Britton, I'm going to start the very final